I'm 39M. My wife is 41F. First things first, I have no plans to divorce my wife. I'm not so much seeking advice as I am just trying to vent because this hurts like a motherfucker and I'm not sure to whom else I can turn to in order to get this off my chest. An old friend of my wife, whom we have not seen in years, reached out to me last night and emailed me screen caps of some email exchanges they had at the time that detailed a fling my wife had with other man back while we were still dating long distance. She said she wanted to clear her conscience after all this time, but I was still skeptical at first. It took place in the 2 months leading up to me moving in with her. She definitely had sex with the guy at least once and they went on several dates. I logged into her email at about 2 a.m. this morning and verified that these emails were real, and I found some more emails she sent to another friend with more of her details and feelings. We've both grown a lot since then. Our marriage has been truly great, but reading some of the shit she said back then just gutted me. She said she knew what she was doing was wrong, though she didn't necessarily feel guilt. She said that she loved the way I made her feel when we were together, but she got really lonely when I left and that she had made up her mind to basically live like she was single for the 3 weeks each month that I wasn't there. Hell, she even kicked around the idea of breaking up with me to pursue a relationship with the other guy. Like I said, we currently have a great marriage and I have zero intention of pursuing a divorce. I'm not even sure I'm going to confront her about it because it was so long ago. That said, this has really punched me in the gut and I'm not sure I've ever felt this kind of hurt. Thanks for listening to me and letting me vent. Reddit. Update. I got back home on Sunday after a weekend work meeting that was out of state. I asked her if we could talk, and I told her that I knew she had cheated on me. She held back tears as she confessed that she had, indeed, carried on a brief relationship with another man while we were dating, shortly before I had moved states and we had moved in together. I asked her if there were any other times, and she said no. I have faith in her when says this, because I gave no time frame and she corroborated what I had found. I then asked why she kept it from me for so long, and she said she knew how adamant I was that I would never forgive a cheater. I had also been cheated on in college by a longtime girlfriend, and she knew it would destroy both me and our relationship. She then asked for my forgiveness, if I could ever forgive her, and I told her that I already had. She cried even more when I told her that the last thing I want is a divorce, because I still love her more than anything in the world and I'm not willing to throw everything we have away for something that happened 16 years ago. I said that while I love her, I am still very hurt because all of this is new for me and my trust in her is a little shaken for having kept this from me for so long. She understood. She offered to let me go through her DMs, her email, and her text to prove nothing else had gone on. I declined, because I have known all of her passwords and how to unlock her phone and she has never jealously guarded her devices. We can also track one another's devices and she has never been somewhere she shouldn't be when I have checked. Finally, I asked why. She said she didn't have a clear answer why and she still wasn't totally sure, but she was going through a very self-destructive time in her life. This was already known to me, and, when this guy came pursuing her hard, it is one more terrible decision in a string of terrible life decisions she had made over the previous year. We embraced and cried, she apologized again, and I told her how much she meant to me. I told her it would take time for me to process all of this and that I would be going through counseling, and that I want us to attend marriage counseling for at least a little while, but that I was still madly in love with her. Then she asked me how I found out, and I told her about how her old friend had reached out to me and dropped the news, which caused me to check her emails and corroborate this information. Apparently they had a pretty serious falling out a while back after my wife had loaned the friend a good amount of money after the friend's husband had took everything and left her high and dry. This money came from her discretionary account, not our shared account. Yes, we both have discretionary accounts. No, I do not worry about what she does with her own money. Yes, I knew about the loan. Instead of using the money to get back on her feet, her friend had used it for really expensive, unneeded stuff and a vacation with some other girlfriends. Needless to say, my wife was pissed. She asked for her money back, and it led to a big fight. They have barely spoken since, and this will probably officially end their relationship as my wife thinks this could be payback for cutting off her friend. I have my first session with a new therapist later this week. We have a session with a marriage counselor next week. I am hopeful that we will come through this ordeal just as strong as we were before. To those who offered me genuine advice, thank you. While I was not necessarily looking for advice when I first posted, there was some sage wisdom in some of your words and it really helped me. Thank you. Again, I cheated on my postpartum wife last year, and still feel guilty about it. Disclaimer, this isn't a revenge fantasy post. The whole thing was traumatic for me, my wife, for everyone involved. My wife, 30F, and I, 31M, married 4 years ago, and gave birth to baby boy a couple years ago. Unfortunately, my wife started showing signs of PPD post-birth, but did not want to go to the doctors to get an official diagnosis. During the first year post-birth, my wife started resenting me really badly, started berating me a lot. I did recognize at that time that this was a PPD phase my wife was going through, and this would slowly pass through time. However, I am human, and the insults did hurt me and lower my self-esteem. Comments about how much I earn, how I look, about my manhood, the insults had it all. I was insulted non-stop for a few months, but tried to persevere through. However, a few months later I somewhat hit my breaking point, because my confidence was at an all-time low. I downloaded a dating app just to look for a hookup and nothing more. I had a few matches. I chose a random woman to continue conversation with for a couple weeks. We had a dinner date, then proceeded to hook up. The sex in itself was amazing. It was the first time in a long time I felt exhilarated and confident in myself. She was also extremely pretty. She wanted to continue on for further dates, but I did not want to proceed further and put an end to it. I told my wife the truth immediately. I was expecting a divorce and for my name to be ruined. I knew I had ruined my life, and my own family would probably disown me. However, my wife's reaction to all this was the complete opposite. I told her she was completely in the right to tarnish my name and proceed with the divorce, but she told me she loved me and she would never even think of doing that. We spent a lot of time crying after my confession. Months passed on, we both joined couples therapy, where I fully confessed to the therapist my mistakes, about the cheating, and that I had no excuses for that. My wife too laid it all out, where she discussed the berating, and how she would never want to go back to that time ever again. We also confided in each other why we did this. The couples therapy sessions were deeply therapeutic, and it strengthened our relationship a lot. My wife has been putting a lot of effort to show her love to me, and I try and reciprocate it as much as I can. It's been a year now, and we're in such an amazing relationship. I like to think of that cheating incident as the worst point in our relationship, but it was something that was probably needed to push our relationship to where it's at today.
My mom makes us celebrate her on our birthdays. I have 3 siblings between the ages of 10 and 18. I'm the oldest fourth at 25. Every year on every single one of our birthday, we're expected to celebrate my mom as well. We've done it since we were little. It was taught to me as giving thanks for carrying plus giving birth to us. Which I'm all for. I am grateful as we wouldn't be here without her. The issue is though, it becomes less of our birthday and more so an anniversary for the day our mom gave birth. Every year on our birthday our mom gets gifts too. As we got older, we're now expected to get her monetary gifts, and not cards, or homemade stuff. Just recently was my birthday and I was gifted some much needed clothes and dishware for my new apartment. My dad however got my mom a new MacBook. My siblings all got her gifts too. My youngest brother isn't expected to give much, but my 16-year-old sister and 18-year-old second brother work so they're expected to give gifts too. My sister pulled me aside before my birthday and said she was sorry she couldn't get me much, she got me a sweater, I love it, and that she wanted to give me more but our mom was pressuring her to get a certain necklace for our mom. Apparently my mom had been dropping hints for months and my sister was worried our mom would be upset and feel underappreciated if she didn't get it. I asked how much it was, and my sister said it was $300. I honestly lost it on our mom and chewed into her later that afternoon when my mom opened her gifts after me. I think she's ridiculous for even wanting my sister to spend so much on a gift. Mom started crying, and my dad kicked me out. Mom won't answer calls but my aunt, mom's sister, called and said I was a boss for not respecting my mother and that I'm a selfish, narcissist child for being jealous of the gifts mom got. I thought I was in the right, but now I don't know. It's been over 2 weeks and mom won't answer my calls. She's been posting on Facebook inspiration quotes about letting go of the toxicity in your life, how blood doesn't equal family, and how hard it is to be a mother. Several family members, aunt, grandma, uncle, and 2 of my cousins, are replying to the posts and are very obviously directing vague comments at me about being a horrible daughter. I don't know what to think now because of how many people are on her side. Edit, thank you for all your feedback. I think it's really eye-opening and I'm going to try to find a therapist so I can unload all this fuckery. Also, thank you for the awards but you don't have to. If you feel inclined, I think it would be pretty cool to donate it instead to a cool charity of your choice instead.